So who is next for Derrick Lewis? Here are 10 fights that we need to see after watching UFC Nashville. And we start off with the man in the main event. He got a brutal knockout, JK. It was early as, and it was bullcrap, but he still did it. And he still dropped Tallison, which is what I didn't think was going to happen. So hats off to Derrick. But who is he going to fight next? That is the question on everyone's lips right now. Well, not really. But when you look at the heavyweight division, he's fought Gane, he's fought Volkov, he's fought Pavlovich, he's fought Blades, Almeida, he's fought Spivak, Tybura. See who I missed there? What is that telling you? But the thing with Waldo Cortez Acosta is he's fighting Sergey Pavlovich. And if he's fighting Sergey, he might get knocked out. And Derrick is pretty active. Like, you do see him fairly often, so I don't know if he's going to be out for 9 months. And the only other guy that I could really think that could make a tiny bit of sense and you know, the people would be excited about, is none other than everyone's favourite heavyweight, Shamil the Blob Garcia. Now, Shamil Gaziev, I do think that if this got booked, everyone would be like, all right, fair enough, Gaziev Lewis, let's do it. And also, like I said before, like, Derrick Lewis fought bloody everyone. He's fought everyone in the top 15 nearly. Tuivasa, everyone ahead except for Waldo. So Waldo Lewis is a fight that I feel like we will see one day, but right now, timing-wise, it doesn't make sense. Gaziev isn't doing anything apart from eating macas. So I reckon that he might be open for a Lewis fight, but I know it doesn't make sense. And I know Lewis shouldn't really have to fight Gaziev, but you've seen it. There's no one. There's no one. So yeah, Derrick Lewis versus Shamil Gaziev, the memes, them on a poster. Well, I doubt it would be a main event, but it probably would be. So yeah, Shamil Gaziev versus Derrick Lewis. We move down to the loser of the main event, Tallison Teixeira. He got robbed brutally. Even worse than Wonderboy got robbed, honestly. He got robbed of an opportunity. But now Tallison Teixeira, he got early stoppage. Good for his career, 8-1. It's okay. But who should he fight? And I actually do like this matchup. I think it's very exciting. If Big Marcel posted this, you would get a boner. And Jonata Diniz versus Tallison Teixeira, two Brazilians, very similar records. It'd be a stand-up fight, you'd have to imagine. Honestly, Tallison would maybe, serve him right to shoot takedowns. I actually think Diniz would probably win this one, but I don't know. And I actually reckon it's super fun. Two Brazilian kickboxers, rangy guys, KO power, Diniz Teixeira. Like that on a pay-per-view, early prelims, it's like, oh my god, shit could go down there. I really reckon Diniz Tallison's a great fight, and I don't know what to do with Tallison other than that. Like a Mick Parkin, maybe he fights in Nusuchukwu now, or do we rebuild him against fatties like Martin Bidet or I'm not too sure. So yeah, I just think this is super fun. But I also would maybe think Diniz beats him. I don't know what to think of Tallison anymore. We move on to the rightful winner of the co-main, which was Wonderboy Thompson, getting it done in his old age. Still got it, so he definitely shouldn't retire anytime soon, because he was schooling Buckley a bit. Beats Bonfim, who's fucking 18-1 now. And this one, I feel like I've dropped the ball a little bit, because it doesn't make sense. Like, when you see this matchup, you're not going to be like, oh yeah, fuck yeah. Really, it doesn't make any sense. And does he deserve it? No. But when I looked down at the welterweight rankings, I was like, yeah, Phil Rowe, Wonderboy, that'd be a good fight. It makes sense. Like, I feel like I could see it happen. Like, if it got announced, I'd be like, yeah, I guess they're giving him Phil Rowe now to send packing. And I reckon he would definitely beat up Phil Rowe, but it'd be a good fight. But he's lost to Jake Matthews and Neil Magny, so maybe you could say Jake Matthews deserves Wonderboy. But Wonderboy, Jake Matthews, I just don't feel like that will ever happen. But Phil Rowe, Wonderboy, that makes sense to me. Like, as a fight that would happen, two rangy guys, welterweight, and I don't know what to do with Wonderboy anymore. I actually thought maybe Nick Dalby makes a bit of sense. They both beaten Bonfim, a bit of story there. Dalby's a bit high level, and maybe Fresh Prince doesn't deserve it, so I'm not sure. You let me know who Wonderboy should fight next. That would make a ton of sense. But we move on to Gabriel Bonfim. Now, I think you might know where I'm going with this one. Guru called for it, and it made a lot of sense. Randy Brown even replied to Guru's tweet. I know I just gave it away, but Randy Brown even replied to Guru's tweet telling him to tee that up. Guru said, we need to sacrifice Bonfim to Randy Brown. And not even that it's really a sacrifice. Randy Brown versus Bonfim is a super close fight. If I can get that off my screen, please. Randy Brown versus Bonfim is super close. I don't know who would win that. I reckon Randy Brown. But Bonfim, Randy Brown, I reckon that's a good fight. That's a good fight. And yeah, that's a good fight. What more do you need to know? And also the tweet, And it just seems like natural progression of what's next. Actually, Wonder Boy, you should maybe look forward. But you didn't really beat Wonder Boy, so yeah. If you submitted him, we'd be looking at Bonfim versus Luke, or Bonfim versus, I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, now we're looking at this. Randy Brown versus Bonfim. Moving on to Steve Garcia, who got a big win on the featured fight against Calvin Kattar. Wasn't that impressive, but he won. And he called out a couple guys like Onama. That's the only guy I can think of, and so that's the guy I gave him, David Onama. You're welcome, Steve. You get what you want. I think Yusuf Salau, he said as well, but Onama Garcia, that would be a banger, and I could see it happening. And just putting the two guys that are on a streak together, it's not like Onama's. Oh, okay, 4-fight win streak. Shit, he lost to Nate Landwehr. God, how did he do that? But whatever, fine. Nate Landwehr's got some sneaky good wins, it seems. But yeah, David Onama versus Steve Garcia. I reckon that'd be a banger. I've got no idea who I would pick. And that's a good fight. Onama Garcia. Moving on to Calvin Kattar, you might be thinking, what the fuck's he still doing here? He's lost 5 in a row. But it's not like he looks completely washed. He is, and his name still carries value that I think you should put against a younger guy. Like imagine Kevin Vallejos came out here and knocked out Calvin Kattar. That still holds aura. And that would be awesome to watch Vallejos beat the fuck out of him. But that's not who I've given him. Because Kevin Vallejos has a fight signed, and the only reason I'm keeping Kattar around is to build up another guy, and that guy is, and I know this guy maybe doesn't deserve it, but if we rebook it fast on the Paris card, Morgan Charrier, they just fought like right after the other. I know Morgan just lost to Nathaniel Wood, so maybe like a Nathaniel Wood deserves to fight a Calvin Kattar, or a Shepe Mariscal deserves to fight a Calvin Kattar, not really Morgan. But we're turning it around for Paris fast. They both should be able to turn around. It's not like too much happened to Calvin. No, he got beat up a bit, but he's been fairly active. Like he turned right back around after the Zalal one, so I don't think it's too out of the realm of possibilities. Morgan, Calvin, it's a good fight to put in that card, and they're both featherweights and they both fought on the same card. I don't know. It's not my strongest matchup, and other people deserve a Calvin, like a Nathaniel Wood who beat Morgan, but it's okay. Nathaniel Wood can get something else. Alright, Vitor Petrino won his debut up at heavyweight, beating Austin Lane. Another fat man. Not that Vitor is fat, that beat Austin Lane. You already know where this is going. In the first round, 2 guys that have beat Austin Lane. Don't forget about him, because he's still around. Justin Tuffer versus Vitor Petrino is something that I actually want to see. You know what I weirdly think would be a close fight? Justin Tuffer, Derrick Lewis. I don't think you can easily say that. Yeah, Derrick just instantly chins him. Because, I don't know. I know you might be thinking I'm crazy there, but Tuffer's good in the pocket. So, that'd be close. But Vitor versus Justin Tuffer is a hard fight for Vitor Petrino. Tuffer, he just fought on the same card as the other Tuffer brothers, so they know each other, I suppose. Not really. But bad man Tuffer. Yeah, and they both beat Austin Lane. That was my thinking. Also, Tallison knocked out Tuffer, so if Vitor easily finished him, it'd be like, oh look, Tallison did that, you know, it'd have a little thing. I don't know. Vitor versus Justin Tuffer, that's what's happening though. Alright, moving on to Chris Action Man Curtis. I might have dropped the ball a little bit here. I don't know about this matchup, but it happened. Well, it will happen if the UFC lets me. Hey UFC, how's it going? Michael Chiesa, I don't even know, man. I just thought 2 welterweights. I was thinking about doing Chris Curtis versus Jake Matthews, actually. Or a Chris Curtis versus, I don't even know, man. Dalby? No, I don't know. But yeah, Chiesa. I feel like it's 2 Americans. It'd be a tough matchup for both. And they haven't fought each other, right? I don't know. God, he lost to Dariush. He lost to Jim Miller too? Alright, sorry. I don't know anything. But yeah, Michael Chiesa versus Chris Curtis. I reckon that is a fight that should happen. Now, we move on to Jake Matthews, and this is my most proud matchup in the entire video. The one that I think that makes the most sense, the one that I could see happening the most. Jake Matthews in the welterweight division called out Gilbert Burns, a Brazilian. I've given him someone different, and this guy you could have given to Chris Curtis as well. But I think this one makes so much sense. Jake Matthews versus Vicente Luque. God, I can really see that happening. I think I might get this one right. Just on the prelim section of a pay-per-view Fight Night Perth, that Perth card that's coming up in September. Could Luque turn around for that? I'm not too sure. But Jake Matthews, Luque, such a good natural progression. I think Matthews called out Burns and guys in the rankings. Luque's like exactly that, exactly what you need. I reckon if I asked Jake, hey, what do you think about Luque? He'd be like, yeah, that sounds good. Natural progression. Everyone knows Luque. I reckon he could beat him. I really like this matchup. I think it's the best one that I've done, one that makes the most sense and that you could really see happening on the entire video. And we'll end the video, last one, the clean monster Valter Walker. Now this one doesn't really make too much sense as well. There's a couple different... God, he looks fucked in that one. He looks absolutely fucked. There's a lot of guys you could give Valter, like another fat guy, but I don't know. I don't know what I was doing. I just gave Mick Parkin, which kind of doesn't make the most sense because you'd want both of these guys in the top 15 one day and get rid of fattier guys, but I just didn't know. I just didn't know when I was looking at the heavyweight division. Well, let's look at it here. Like, who to really give Valter? Like a Bursky's booked, Chris Barnett, I don't know what he's doing. He just beat Nuzachukwu there, so like a Thomas Peterson. I was thinking about Mo Usman versus Valter Walker, but I don't know, that just seems weird. Hamdi, Thomas Peterson, like, what do you think? Look, there's him there. Baday's matched up right now. Tybora's matched up. I was thinking about Valter Walker, Tybora. I think that makes a lot of sense, but he's matched up. Tybora's beaten Big Mick Parkin. Yeah, so I don't know. I just thought that makes sense. Alvin Hines. Kennedy Nuzachukwu can fight Alvin Hines. Or Kennedy Nuzachukwu can fight like a Thomas Peterson or a Mo Usman even. Nuzachukwu Mo Usman makes a lot of sense actually. And was there anyone else in the card that's worth giving a fight? I don't think so. Well, that was it. Those were the 10 fights. So I'll leave it there. 10 fights that we need to see after watching UFC Nashville, and I'll head off at the 12-minute mark, which is in 10 seconds, so bear with me. All right, see ya. All right, hey, Mum.